or 6, maybe 7 or 8 minutes. And that whole fisting,
fencing. It's called fencing because your arm's kind of in a fencing stance. So.
Okay.
Yeah, devastating. And the NFL didn't speak up quick enough, in my opinion. After all that went down, they need to take a stance. Roger Goodell needs to get on camera. Let's talk it out. Because these are the assets of the league. These are the guys who make it happen, and you gotta take care of them.
Well, let's move to something
let's go.
a little happier. My man, I'm calling him Zippy Zappy, double Z's,
the
man.
Patriots?
Speaking of, you got Mac Jones injured, Brian Hoyer injured. So this week he will actually start.
Love it.
But, he was playing Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. How much his heart was probably, 170 beats per minute. Yeah. But he did okay. The kid's got an arm. I was impressed.
I'm not going to say that Billy Zappi didn't play well. I'll just say again that I think the Packers still have a chance to really win the NFC North or at least make the playoffs. But you look at them, they'll maybe make the playoffs, but they're a one and done because for a third string quarterback to take them to overtime, it's not a good sign that you're a real contender. But the good thing is for Zappi is even though the Patriots are 1-3, here is their schedule for their next few games. They play the Lions next, then the Browns, then the Bears, then the Jets, then the Colts.
Dang, that's all W's right there, baby.
And then the Jets again. So they can get to 7-3.
They'll be in first place by then.
Because they do have a good defense. And both their running backs, Stevenson and Damian Harris, local boy, Damian Harris, both those guys are good running backs. So just based on those two things, and Zappi is, I think, a good quarterback. He doesn't have a great arm, but maybe they play short, intermediate passing game around that with those running backs. They can get to 7-3 looking at that schedule. So,
Lugs, is Billy Zappi Frank Zappi's son? Remember Frank?
Oh, yeah.
70s reference.
Zappy or something
Moon
like
Unit,
that.
Moon Unit. Yeah. And the Packers go to England to play the Giants, the red-hot New York football Giants. And
speaking of which,
I like that.
What's their quarterback going to start for them? Because Daniel Jones is out. The second guy is out. The third guy is up, I'm assuming.
I think you're up, dude.
They supposedly,
what size helmet do you wear?
Him. They're working out Jake Fromm. So,
oh my gosh! What? Wait, Throwback Thursday. First you mentioned Brian Hoyer, and I thought actually he had passed away, but I know he's a backup. Now it's Jake Fromm.
Well, I'm not saying he is. They worked him out. They might have worked him out. It's like, never mind.
That's not even a taxi squad. That's like an Uber squad right there, man. That's like,
I'm hearing that Cutler is willing to come back.
Look, don't even bring up Cutler because I think J-Boy and I are still mad that we were denied him as a commentator because you were talking about a guy who I think could have been magic in the booth.
He would have been in Greg Olson's chair by now, right?
I think Cutler would have been magic in the booth. I think he missed out on an opportunity just to get one more payday in Miami. I think he screwed himself long-term for short-term.
All right, we got about 20 minutes into this deal. What other games do you want to highlight today? There was a big week. There a lot happened there.
We've seen the last of Baker Mayfield. He'll start a few more games, but it's done. He's done. Enjoy your money. His ego will make him have to go on and try. He probably won't be able to handle being a backup.
CFL. Canadian. He can say, hey, how's it going? He can go to Canada.
Hey, you know what I think he'll end up doing? I think he'll end up being a college football commentator.
Yeah, I can see that. That's Absolutely. A good call.
Heisman Trophy guy? Sure, why not? He's good in those commercials.
As long as he wears that Karate Kid headband, I'm okay with it. So.
I mean, Sanchez is a good one. There's a couple others who've turned out, the old QBs who did pretty well. Yeah, I can.
Romo being the best.
Yeah, but he had a career. Some of these other guys didn't have much of a career.
Okay.
And that'd be Baker'd be one of them. 4 years and out, whatever.
And speaking of the Cowboys, Cooper Rush. My man, he's doing all right.
Yeah, break up the Cowboys.
The Cowboys.
Yeah.
they're gonna. Philadelphia is going to take them out, but
oh my gosh,
they
absolutely.
could still make a wild card. I think they've got a defense to do it.
Yeah, I mean, their running game has come and gone. Pollard and Ezekiel looked good against the Giants a week ago. Obviously getting Michael Gallup back this last week helps. And because Noah Brown played well in his spot, so that'll give him 3 receivers in addition to CeeDee Lamb. And it feels like maybe Prescott's maybe not going to play this week, but maybe week 6 or 7. So, but Cooper Rush has played well in his spot. And then obviously, besides Dallas being a big winner, just staying in contention, staying afloat. And even if they don't win the East, they definitely are in a, driver's seat to get one of the 3 wild card spots. The other big winner is Cooper Rush, because Cooper Rush, just from this play alone, these last few weeks, he's probably going to be in the league for an additional 5+ years. Because look, he's done more in these spots than Chase Daniels has, and Chase Daniels is the primary backup to Herbert in the Chargers. I mean, I don't know if Chase Daniels ever done anything during an actual game. So
he's made $60+ million in the big house in the NFL too. So don't hold any benefits for Chase, right? He's done all right. All right, so, is Philly the cream of the crop, fellas? Are they gonna? I mean, they're looking good. Jalen, etc. Are they the team to beat?
I would, yes, and yes, in that division for sure.
Well, I mean the whole league. Come on.
I don't know if they could handle Kansas City or Buffalo if we get down to that.
I actually think they can. I think they can, because the one thing I respect about what this coaching staff has done last year and even elements this year is their flexibility. They at the beginning of last year, they try to be more of a pass happy team. Sirianni, because Sirianni came from Frank Wright, and they try to be, and credit to Jalen Hurts. Last year, he wasn't as developed as a quarterback as he was this year. They've noticed it was a mistake. So halfway through the season, they scrapped it, and it became a very run-intensive team. And they went on to, make the playoffs last year. Similarly, just as a microcosm, for this week, the rain was bad at a few spots in a few games, particularly obviously in the Northeast, coming off of all the the storms that came through from Florida. It was not a good day to pass the ball. So what did the Eagles do? They just decided to either they threw it short on a bunch of bubble screens, or fake outs, or they just ran the ball, because they can do that behind that offensive line. And Miles Sanders had a good game. They kept it quick, even though they lost their left tackle for the game. They knew they couldn't maybe protect against the pressure that Jacksonville had, and they just were smart about how to attack their opponent. So, and that's what I'm saying is these first 2 years have been very impressive for not only the front office with Howie Roseman, how they've drafted and added pieces to this team in terms of personnel, but also the coaching staff. So I don't know. They're very flexible. I respect Andy Reid, but there seems to always be like a stall somewhere later in the season, because teams kind of figure out what the wrinkles have been added by Andy Reid, and I don't know how many additional ones he has. And Buffalo just has to get healthy. They've had so many major injuries just over these last 2 weeks that you worry about it just accumulating to a point of them just having to just bear through it. So I think there is a good shot that they are the team to beat overall.
How about you, Lugs? You like them? The Phillies?
I really respect their offensive line and their running capability. Defensively, secondary worries me a little bit. That's why I think Mahomes or Justin or any of the other guys, I think passing capability, it could be problematic for them. But yes, they will be in any game that they play. They will be in it to win it, not to rip off what's his name, the no biscuit, no risket, or whatever.
Yeah, and I guess the last thing I'll just say on this is a big part of the credit should go to just the third year development of Jalen Hurts and how much he's progressed from year 1 to year 2 to now year 3. You saw how now they are more balanced in trying to throw the ball when the conditions are optimal to do both. Like they will throw it with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. So you can't just decide, oh, they're just going to try to smash us with Hurt or Miles Sanders or Gainwell out of the backfield. They will, if you try to crouch down on them, they will try to go over the top of you. So
I think it's rest assured the Rams nor the Bengals will repeat in the Super Bowl this year, and the tradition continues. You know what I'm saying? I don't think. I don't think they're coming back. I don't think.
Well, I'm not. I agree with you on the Rams. I'm not ready to completely tap out on the Bengals just yet. They've redeemed themselves in the last 2 weeks. So,
they finally stopped. A couple of
the bleeding
structures, so he didn't get killed.
Well, I mean, look, the first 2 weeks they allowed 13 sacks. That offensive line. A week 3 and 4, they allowed 3 sacks. So like they've gelled a lot better. I mean, obviously, maybe you could mock the Jets pass rush. I don't think it's maybe as good as it's definitely not as good as the Steelers with TJ Watt or the Dallas, but still, like, they have some guys that can rush the ball. And obviously Miami has a pretty good defensive front. So like for them to stymie them to the extent they did is still pretty impressive. So like, and their defense has played well, I think, in all 3 games, the Bengals. So it was just their offense getting back into rhythm. So I'm not willing to, and also this upcoming week, I believe week 5, the Bengals play the Ravens. So that is a huge game for whoever's probably going to win this division. Yep. So,
well, I don't think they'll get back there.
I got money on the Ravens right there for that. Sorry about that, Jay boy. I didn't mean to pop on you there, but
you didn't. I was just going to say, and on top of that, I think L.A. coach McVay gets fired after this season.
Whoa!
That's a hot take.
I just want to see what you guys had to say about that.
Whoa!
Hot take.
Now, just to say that division for a moment, our guy Kyle Shanahan is supposed to be this offensive genius. He's yet to break 500. I mean, come on. Come on.
What?
Look, it's to be fair to your point, it's fair in regards to just what he got with the 49ers. They had such bad quarterback play, but to be fair, he is supposed to be an offensive guru. So you're supposed to be able to conjure anyone into being a good player. But I think it just goes to show you see with like Belichick, even though I know he's not an offensive guy, once he doesn't have Brady, it's harder to win like 70% of your games because it's getting those level of quarterbacks are rare. Like it's not that easy to get that level of quarterback. So,
and speaking of Belichick, man, even Belichick was going over and hunkering down with Zappy. I mean, it was like everybody immediately converged on the kid, And I think all Belichick told him was, "Don't give up that damn ball."
That's just
all he cared about.
That's an old Jedi mind trick, dude. Come on, Yoda went over to the, to the apprentice and said, "Don't drop the ball."
Yeah, they've basically, I've sold the rights to my voice in following in James Earl Jones.
Right. These are not the drones you want.
Okay, I get off track here.
Yeah, we did. Hey, this episode
since we're off track,
a big
Kenny
time.
Pickett, baby. All right,
Kenny Pickett, you like
he
that?
Comes in and he gave up 3, just zip, zoom, zoom. It was like, but I think they have to do it. The Steelers aren't going to go anywhere this year, so go ahead and let the kid have his growing pains because even though Mitch is one of my boys from Carolina, I can't hang with him any longer. Sorry.
Well, it's just kind of like what you said. I think it's a win-win for them to go to Pickett, just in terms of like maybe he is the guy that jumpstarts them. Because clearly with losing TJ Watt, and I think he's going to play through an injury, but Minkah Fitzpatrick, one of their other top tier players, he's injured. I think he's going to play through it, but like their defense has not been the same since that week 1 where they were just out of their mind against the Bengals. They need offensive something to help try to jumpstart them. And obviously it felt like Mitch Trubisky was playing kind of skittish and like a guy who didn't want to lose the job again. But he was, you can't play that way as a quarterback. You have to be willing to risk it on some level at times. And Kenny Pickett, I mean, he had 3 interceptions,